Mike's Daily Podcast.
Whenever I start this show and I say FF episode 1533, 1533, wow. Got a 33 in today's show. I always am. And we have 131 fans of the Mike's Daily Podcast page on Facebook. And that will drop to 130 by tomorrow. It goes 130, 131, and it just stays around there because of the bots that I have.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Follow me. Because you know what? Anybody that says, oh, I got a lot of listeners to my podcast.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
They are forgetting about that little thing called bots. And because of the Russians, they're everywhere. And I got very few following me. But that's all right, because I know the people that are following me are cool and named Bart. Bart! That's
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I had a go there. Okay. That was today's song, and
Mike's
I watched a concert
Daily
on YouTube last night.
Podcast.
As I am now very pro YouTube. I dropped my Netflix and I watch YouTube all the time now. And I found a concert with INXS from 1991. It was the Live Baby Live concert they did at Wembley Stadium. Here's an interesting thing. I watched that concert and I'm blown away. Michael Hutchence was the totally best rock frontman. He just had this great persona on stage. He belted out the songs. He didn't have to use a stupid teleprompter. What is it with our rock stars today using teleprompters? It is so demeaning to everything that is rock. I am so angry about teleprompters in rock. And you see it all the damn time. Well, Mike, those rockers are old now and they can't remember all the lyrics to the songs. A bunch of people just walked in. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?
It's a disgruntled fiddle player, tell you what.
What?
Preach on about that teleprompter thing. I hate it.
Yeah, what am I? Am I at a concert or am I watching the weather forecast? Am I at a concert or am I watching a politician's speech? Because the politician's speech...
And here's today's podcast picture.
They're always reading teleprompters. Or the bad politicians are. And they're talking, and they're looking at the things, and they're saying stuff like...
I think part of what is happening, I think Democrats are letting their hair on fire to get you to cover this story, to try and keep repeating the same story.
Thank you, Paul Ryan. Oh, don't you hate politician speeches? They are the... Oh. That's the only good thing about Trump is when he's giving a speech and he goes off the cuff, and you get a real... You're getting this real rant, and I love that, but I know.
But Mike, he's in charge of the country, and it's scary.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. It's just, you gotta laugh because conservative Republicans do not like, really conservative Republicans hate Trump because he used to be a Democrat. He's given money to Hillary. And I forgot what Hillary's doing now.
I'm now back to being an activist citizen and part of the resistance.
Oh, okay. Oh, and Trump says the word huge. Say it again? Huge. Okay. At any rate, I got a little off topic. Wait, what is the topic of the show? It's any topic is the topic. Is teleprompters suck. And the whole time I'm watching this INXS concert from 1991, and they were riding the wave at this point. They had the huge hit, I Need You Tonight, 'cause I'm not sleeping. There's something about you. Now, if you're a huge INXS fan, you know that song, even though it's like only 3 minutes long, it's a short song, it actually on the album fades into a song called Mediate. And Mediate is this like 4-minute song where Michael Hutchence is just giving out all these words that end with the word, the sound 8. Everything rhymes with 8. So, ameliorate this, 88, we all rotate, and da-da-da, dee-dee-dee. The music video actually was really cool because he was doing a spoof on the Subterranean Blues song by Bob Dylan. And yeah, so that's how the song ends. And then they flipped the, drum loop they basically used, but sequencing as they called it.
Hallucinate to segregate, mediate, alleviate, try not to hate, love your mate, don't suffocate on your own hate.
Now it's interesting. So Michael Hutchence is doing the video is a ripoff of the Bob Dylan Subterranean Blues, where he's just got all these cardboard signs. Speaking of teleprompters and reading cue cards, he's got all these cue cards that have different, like here he's got don't, designate, fate, state, freight, 8, etc. My point being, when the band plays Wembley Stadium, I mean, they were on top of it. They were huge in excess at that point. And the very last thing you see in the concert is they're leaving the stage, right? They're doing their all arm-in-arm bow. And they're all leaving, and Michael Hutchence still has all this energy. He's just given you a 2.5-hour show, and he's just nonstop, song after song, hit after hit. And he still goes over, he takes one of the Ferris brothers, I think it was the core of the band. He takes the guitar of one of the Ferrises, and not Pharisees, this isn't a Christian podcast, I know you thought it was, and takes the guitar and goes over to, it starts wailing on it and goes over to an amp and, does the whole, you take a guitar and you put it up against an amp, the strings of the guitar are now catching the volume of the speaker, and it does this cool little reverb thingy, and he's wailing on it. And then he puts the guitar down. He doesn't throw it into the audience, or he doesn't smash it on stage and do some stupid rock star thing. He just sets it down, and then he gives a peace sign, and he leaves the stage. And, at that point, I'm like, I have not wasted the past 2 hours like I would have watching a stupid Netflix show about a bunch of kids and we're trying to be an 80s movie. And, look, there's Sean What's-His-Face from Rudy popping up. Oh, God. Isn't he a hobbit now? What the hell? I don't care about these shows, Netflix. Shove it. So, thank you, INXS. Well, what happened, of course, Michael Hutchence took his own life in a very bizarre situation. Well, he might have been pleasing himself, auto-asphyxiation, eradication. He's now in heaven, rock heaven, gone. But he died on my birthday in 1997. And there is on the web, on YouTube, you can watch the last rehearsal he did with INXS. The night before, on 11/21, you see him rehearsing with the band. And the thing is, INXS is a bunch of brothers and a bunch of old friends from Australia, and they were just close guys. And just to watch this low quality video, and Michael Hutchence is singing the songs, facing the band, because when you're rehearsing, you generally face the band. You're kind of jamming like you would in a garage. And he's smoking, and I never knew he smoked, but I think he partook in a lot of pleasures, as we found out what ended his life. But it was an interesting time. 1997, it made me think back to that point where I was on fire. I was at the top of my game because, well, I'll tell you in a moment, but INXS was actually not at the top of the game. Even though they sounded great in that rehearsal, at that point they had not had a hit in a long time. I think the last big hit song they had was probably that Disappear. You're so fine, lose my mind, and the world seems to disappear. They had a good album after that one, I forget, that had that Beautiful Girl song on it, and Not Enough Time. That was a great album. But, Welcome to Wherever You Are. Yeah, Heaven Sent was on that. That's a good album. But that didn't really have the huge hits that, you don't hear those songs over and over again. You hear Need You Tonight over and over again, and Devil Inside, and New Sensation, and What You Need, Give Me What You Need, all those songs you hear. But they, at that point in 97, were playing small clubs they were struggling as a band. They had hit that wall, and you could tell on their faces they weren't as happy anymore. They were they were struggling with their appearances, trying to make themselves look all late 90s grunge, but they're not. They were never grunge, and so it was bad. Well, my point being, and that's the catchphrase of the show, is that when a band plays Wembley Stadium, that seems to be you've hit your peak at that point. You look at one of the last concerts Queen did was at Wembley, Live Aid, Wembley Stadium, where a lot of bands got up there and played, and that was pretty much their peak. The Hooters played at Wembley, Live Aid, and then they were done. Oh, wait, maybe they didn't. They played the place in Philadelphia. That's right. Okay. My memory's not serving me. Step up, memory. Serve me more well, will you? My memory's not serving me well. Well, at any rate, they seem to... Wembley's huge. It's in England. It's massive, and massive is the big word that Trump uses. Oh, no, wait, he uses... huge. But that's... My point being, 97, I was pretty much at my peak, because a girl had just broken up with me, and then all of a sudden around my birthday, she's calling and she's going, "Hey, what are you doing for your birthday?" I never get that anymore. Okay, I kind of get that still, but no, she's like, "What are you doing on your birthday?" I said nothing. She goes, "Okay, well, I got a bunch of my friends." She was a waitress. "I'm going to get a bunch of my waitress friends together, and we're going to take you out." And I said, "Yes, okay." And then at work, there was a cute sales lady who was around my age who said, "Hey, what are you doing on your birthday?" And I go, "Oh, I'm just going out with some friends." So yeah, I double booked my birthday, everybody. That's the kind of... Wow.
Oh, my.
97 was a good year. And I remember downtown Ventura, Nickelby's, and oh my gosh, there was another girl I knew at work that showed up too. I was surrounded by women. It was lovely. And I remember my ex-girlfriend who had just broken up with me was kind of like, "Who are these girls? Do you like them?" And I go, "Well, yes, I like them."
Are you out of your mind?
I like everyone. No, well, at that point, but I still... Then after that, I was downhill from there. And oh, wait, I got married somewhere in there, too. Okay, well, maybe not completely downhill. My wedding day was awesome. My point being that you can't say a peak time is... Because this could be your peak time. You might all of a sudden look back on this day and go, "Wow, things were rocking that day. That was an awesome day." Or not. This could be the day I get yelled at. I think I'm pretty much going to get yelled by everyone. I already got an angry email at me today. Not for the podcast, which you can email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com, or call me at 336-MM-DAILY, or just go to the website, mikesdailypodcast.com. You'll catch all the places you can listen to the show. If you don't like the particular format or whatever you're using to listen to the show, there are others that you can use. And we're all over the web at mikesdailypodcast.com. You can find those links and help us out through the PayPal. But I got an angry email through my work, and I responded not angrily. I wrote in the nicest way, but while I'm writing, I was yelling. "Everything worked fine. You don't have to worry." I was...
Something must be wrong with you.
I'm not going to take this anymore!
Was the way I was writing that email. Well, that's Catherine Deneuve. What the hell? Ann Coulter and Catherine Deneuve are kind of leaving me in a state of what the... Ann Coulter, I heard a clip where she said, the Dreamers are the worst illegal immigrants ever, is what she said. That's kind of never, ever the right thing to say about Dreamers. And, there's this... in the conservative world, you can't say whenever you say the Dreamers are children, you go immediately say, oh, but a lot of them are adults now. It's like you can't say that they're kids. That a lot of them are kids, but you've got to immediately qualify that they're adults, as if that makes it better with the... But apparently Ann Coulter turned on Trump over that DACA meeting, which she called the DACA Love Fest meeting. That meeting, the very transparent meeting where he spoke with Republicans and Democrats about immigration and DACA, and it was carried live on television. And that was the one I talked about yesterday where he said, I'll take the heat. She's been a supporter of Donald Trump, especially about the wall, because she hates immigrants, because she's white and blonde and very stick-like. I think she has never eaten anything that has fat, ever, because she looks like really a signpost. She is a conservative signpost. And she's always, it's because she's lifting her book she's always got a new book that's way too big with much too much writing in it. And she uses that, Bill lifts that, and it takes all the calories out of her. And I don't know, this is just an assumption. It's based on fact. But the fact is, no, she's turned on Trump after his bipartisan meeting to discuss the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA. But they're not children. They're adults, so we can treat them like crap. Coulter posted a series of angry tweets that accused Trump of conducting the DACA Love Fest meeting to counter negative press from the recently released Michael Wolff book, Fire and Fury. Ann Coulter attended Authors Night in New York, launched a series of criticisms of the president. She said Trump, flanked by Dems and open border GOPs, announced plans for a 100% open-ended amnesty. But don't worry, there'll be border security. And I'm not going to read her tweets. Oh, I guess I just did. That is annoying. But yeah, so she said any amnesty. She said this was the lowest day in the Trump presidency. I've heard conservatives hail that. She's talking about the DACA meeting with the Democrats and Republicans. A lot of conservatives said that was the best point of Trump's presidency because it showed him being bipartisan. It showed him trying to work across the aisle. It was him being open and transparent to the American people, where Obama was saying that, throughout his presidency that he would be completely open to...
I appreciate that.
...the public.
Washington's made things worse.
But she said, it was the lowest point, she said any amnesty is a 100% amnesty because it goes to the courts, and the courts will say, oh, you may have limited this to left-handed redheads who came here at age 0 through no fault of their own. What? Wow. Okay. And Coulter, the stick. Willie Nelson canceled his shows after leaving a concert early. That's not good. He's 84 now, smoked pot his entire life. Now pot is legal in California anyway. Ooh, and listen to the latest Cross Currents podcast from KALW, where they talk about, hey, we've all forgotten something here with the legalization of pot. I know I don't like the smell of pot, especially on homeless people riding the BART. But what happened, they had a guy who does tests on cigarette smoke. And, guess what? Marijuana smoke has the exact same effect as cigarette smoke. It does. It's smoke. People forgot that smoke is smoke. And when you inhale it, it causes all kinds of things to your arteries, causes you cardiovascular problems. And if you're a secondhand smoke inhaler, if you're inhaling secondhand smoke, you're getting the same effect as you would secondhand from cigarette smoke. So people are forgetting that. And the guy who ran this test said he was at a Paul McCartney concert, and he saw all the people lighting up around him, and he's like, wait a minute, isn't cigarette smoking banned in San Francisco, in the Bay Area? Isn't that where this all started, banning secondhand smoke? And, oh, wait, that's pot smoke. They're smoking pot. Okay. wait a minute, what is the effect of secondhand pot smoke? So he did a test, and lo and behold, it has the same effect as cigarette smoke. Smoke is smoke, everybody, and we forgot about that. Now, if you're going to do the stuff, the inhaler, the smoking, that might be a different thing. He said he didn't run a test on that yet, and if you're doing the edibles, well, that's a different thing too. You're not inhaling smoke at that point, but people need to remember the smoke is still involved, and we have to follow those laws. And of course, if you're high on pot, the CHP is reminding you on the roadways around the Bay Area that being high, drunk being high, it's the same thing. You get a DUI. People just think that, oh, pot's legal, I can smoke it and walk around and puff in the air and woo, and drive and woo. No, there's still laws that pertain to other things that will pertain to this. Pot doesn't get off that easily. Get out of jail free card. But an Ohio man was charged in a 16-court indictment yesterday for allegedly using malware known as Fruit Fly to surreptitiously record people by secretly taking over their computer cameras and microphones, said the U.S. Justice Department. The indictment said that from 2003 through early 2017, this 28-year-old guy collected data from thousands of computers belonging to individuals, companies, schools, police departments, and the U.S. Department of Energy. He collected a wide variety of information from computers, including bank records, photographs, people's internet searches, and keystrokes, and potentially embarrassing communications. The malware was also designed to detect whether computer users typed words associated with pornography, which allowed him to watch and listen to them without their knowledge. This according to Reuters, this Ohio man. Catherine Deneuve, oh yeah, the other woman who's left me questioning what the hell. The French actress is among 100 women who have signed a public letter blaming the Me Too #MeToo anti-harassment movement for creating a totalitarian climate that unfairly punishes men for flirting insistently or clumsily, infantilizes women, and undermines sexual freedom. This according to Variety. The letter said that Me Too, the hashtag emerged after the Harvey Weinstein scandal, has led to a campaign of public denunciation and summary. The letter says, push to resign, etc., when their only wrongdoing was to touch a knee, try to steal a kiss, speak about intimate things during a professional dinner, or send messages that are sexually loaded to a woman who wasn't attracted to them. It says rape is a crime, but flirting with insistently or clumsily isn't a crime, and chivalry is not a machismo aggression. Equating chivalry with, like, groping a woman? No. That's wrong. Even Trump would say.
Wrong.
No, that, or maybe he wouldn't, but, oh my.
No.
That just, here I am, a male that was taught, hey, you don't touch someone without their permission. Period. That's the end of discussion. If you're attracted to them, ask them out. You're not going to get labeled a sexual harasser if you ask them out. Well, if they're married and you're married, or if that person is crazy too young for you, possibly, well, you know, just there are lines that are definitely inappropriate that thou shalt not cross. And common sense. Where's the common sense in all of this? It's my question. So, basically, Catherine Deneuve, the nerve of Deneuve, the wow, that, yeah, oh, God, what's wrong with some guy just grabbing my butt? There's nothing wrong. We used to do that all the time on the subway, she says. Or somebody that I also heard on an NPR French somebody. Okay, that part I can't back up, but so yeah, but you get the idea that they're saying. And you would, I guess in France they say things are different in France, but that's just wrong. Okay, Finally, let's wrap up the show as we go outside of Café Anyway. We're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Where is the common sense? I guess is my point. And North Korea, popularity of fire and fury foretells Trump's end, says North Korea. Okay. And it's a book. And it's a bestseller.
They will be met with fire, fury, and frankly power, the likes of which this world has never seen before.
And Trump won the election.
America elected Donald Trump. And yeah, the Russians helped.
Mm-hmm. That's basically where we stand in the world. But you know what? Just don't touch people that you're... okay, now once you... Okay, at what point do you lean over to kiss them, Mike? Well, definitely not on an elevator, which that guy from Fox News got. He just went over and tried to kiss what's his name? I don't have him in front of me. Somebody on an elevator who was married, too. Just common sense. Jeez. I think we need people to read books or be trained. Maybe our sex ed should go into more detail about what is and is not appropriate. And then who decides what that is? I know, we're into a huge can of worms. Hey, Delta Airlines apparently made a lot of money last year. A lot of people more people flew on Delta than had the year before. And that's funny because I flew on Delta, although I just tried to look for a plane ticket to go to Florida, and the prices are crazy expensive, way more expensive than last year. So Delta needs to, because they're not going to have the same success as last year if they keep this going. All this I just read off of a teleprompter. I hope you enjoyed it. And there was one other Café Anyway character that we did not say hi to, and we're going to do that really quick.
Hi, everybody. I make the delicious root beer. Oh, boy. And that's what now.
Wonderful. Are you going to pour your root beer?
I would if I could find the stupid there. Oh, boy.
Next show, we'll have the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. Hope you enjoyed this show. It was very orderly and concise.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!
Oh, hey, the podcast picture was of a cartoon drawing with you, Bison Bentley. I mean, you, John Deere the engineer.
Mike, we're not the same guy.
Yeah, we're different. Do you know that? I do now. Don't touch me.